The college football experience, Penn State Nittany Lions 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our very own Patreon. Yes, score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with $1,000 to $1,000 prize to the top. The winner, the top winner. That works. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Once again, that is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Penn State Nittany Lions 2023 season preview. Is this the year? A lot of hype for James Franklin. I mean, fans just say they got to get it done this year. Man, the guy's got 4 11-win seasons. I can't wait to talk about the excitement going on in State College, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I certainly hope the pressure isn't on Franklin. I know the opportunity is huge, maybe bigger than ever under Franklin, but there shouldn't be pressure on him.
Buddy. I don't know. We're going to talk all about it. Perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Yes. Franklin saying you're going to pay for it, Ohio State and Michigan, because we're loaded this year. This is the year they've been building for. But he is 78-36 at Penn State. All right. He's only had one losing season. That was the COVID year when the Big Ten said they didn't want to have a season. Then, like in the final seconds, said, no, let's have a season. Hope they realize they're still wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi, well,
let's talk about Penn State, baby.
Where did Penn State fall on that? We know Michigan didn't want football in 2020 originally. We know Ohio State saved college football kind of in 2020.
Yeah.
Curious where Pennsylvania.
They might have been pro, right? Northwestern, we know didn't.
Yeah. The usual suspects.
Gutless wonders like they always
Penn
are.
State being a swing state, is this a swing year?
It could be. It could be with Drew Allar now. Highly recruited quarterback. We're going to talk about it, but we'll go through the offense, the defense, the special teams, the transfer portal, and we'll go game by game on the schedule on this very episode. But Patty C, I'm curious, what do you think of one James Franklin?
Well, he got most of his coaching skills while he was at James Madison University. So
ooh, I would argue Washington State,
moving up and down the coaching ranks, getting skills from great programs left and right. Look, he's a great coach. There's no doubt about it. Now, I guess when you compare him to the legends of Penn State coaching history, he's certainly got advantages in certain areas, but not in terms of win percentage. Going back to Joe Paterno, obviously all that being there, the guy won a lot, and so the Penn State expectations have to be pretty high.
But man, you look back a season ago, that Ohio State game, I feel like they had Ohio State on the ropes and they failed. They should have got that one. Michigan obviously destroys them, Both Michigan and Ohio State were playoff teams. Penn State wasn't. Penn State destroys everyone else on their schedule, except, I mean, Purdue, I guess, was a close win, but they win by 36 against a 10-win Ohio Bobcat team.
I mean, let's talk about this too. Against the losses, Penn State or Ohio State and Michigan, they were beating Ohio State. I want to say in the second half. I know they're beating. I got it pulled up right here. They're beating
Maryland 30-0. Yeah, they should have beat Ohio State. I really felt like they were there, at least neck and neck. It's not a 13-point game.
That Polynesian defensive end destroyed
game
Penn
of his
State.
life.
Yeah,
game of his
Penn
life.
State had the lead on Michigan with 12 minutes left in the third quarter. So in the second half, they had the lead. The Michigan obviously poured it on with some huge Donovan Edwards runs.
Well, and then how about what they did to Maryland in that fake rivalry that they try to sell us every year? 30-0 goose egged Mike Loxley, and then row the boat. Woo! 28-point loss for PJ Fleck. The Auburn Tigers lost by 29. Now Auburn didn't have a winning record, but still
they have talent.
Beat Utah in the Rose Bowl. I know what's his name, Cam Rising tore his ACL that game, but still nice win.
Yeah,
14-point
win. That's a great win.
Yeah.
By
the Northwestern game was actually one of their closer games.
Patty Fitzgerald doing his thing. Was doing his thing. Look, 42-3 all time against that arch rival Maryland. I'm glad the Big Ten really stringing together some great rivalry matchups here.
Big time rivalry. Patty C, though, what do you feel about James Franklin? Like, you think this seems like the year he's got his best roster. I know next year is probably going to be one of those years too,
because Allar and both running backs will be back.
Yeah.
But this year it presents a unique opportunity because Ohio State in particular, who has been, even though they played them very close, Ohio State has the bigger talent edge on Penn State than Michigan does. Michigan and Penn State are pretty darn close talent-wise. Ohio State a little bit above both. But I think Ohio State with a new quarterback, the opportunity is there to get them even on the road.
Yeah, but I just feel like they've been building for this. They've been recruiting better and better and better. The line of scrimmage is supposed to be their best. This is supposed to be the best team he's ever had.
Yeah, and Clifford, give Sean Clifford credit. He's the all-time leading passer in Penn State history at this point, but just the quintessential kind of game manager. Maybe not from an attitude perspective, although I think kind of, but from a skills perspective, he just didn't have elite tools, to work with whether it be arm or running ability or size. So now you bring in Allar, who is the number one quarterback in the nation a couple years ago, coming out of high school,
and those backs, everyone, the portal. We're going to talk all about it. Patty, see, this team that's won a lot of national championships. You want to talk about? This is another one. Feel free to hit us up, Penn State. Because you guys should be claiming way more national championships than you actually. 94. I mean, look, I think Nebraska probably would have won, but they didn't play.
Yeah, claim it.
Dude. How many other ones? I mean, it's
Joe
just like
Paterno had 4 undefeated seasons.
86.
He didn't have the opportunity.
73.
Well, 86. They actually
they
won.
got it. Yeah. 69, 68. I mean, come on. There's just
the guy went undefeated.
47. They went undefeated
2 years in a row and didn't get a national.
They didn't lose a game in 47. You can go on and on and on. 1911, 1912. This is a bunch. 1909. Come on. We're giving them national championships. 1894, they were undefeated.
Maybe I don't know what it is about, the difference between all those states in the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, Penn State. To me, they're all kind of the same state, know, and great football, Midwestern values for the most part. I guess, there are 2 parts of Pennsylvania. You basically have Eastern Pennsylvania and then the rest of it. But even a lot of Pennsylvania, I think you have Philly and then the rest of Pennsylvania. But whatever it is, it seems like they're the same as those other schools, but they get disrespected a lot more, in terms of prestige and getting the benefit of the doubt than the likes of Michigan or Ohio State. I would be curious how many times Michigan has an undefeated season that wasn't rewarded with the national championship. Likewise, Ohio State.
Yeah.
As we just,
dude, that's
Penn State's got like 10.
Count them up. They got to count them. They got to count them. It's just a lot of bullshit. They've been playing football since 1881, Patty C. 1881. We're going to talk all about, this year's 2023 team, offense, defense, special teams, go game by game on the schedule. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the college football experience, Penn State Nittany Lions preview is brought to you by Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. Yes, the Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon is it's just perfect for the diehard DJ. Sign up for the Patreon to get access to exclusive contests, including the NFL Win Totals contest with $1,000 for first place, plus a monthly SGP Stories podcast. You might hear that time Patty C took out his Tecmo Bowl loss on the wall. All right, and an ad free. It's going to be an ad free, uncensored show highlighting the best stories from decades of being DJs. The time you cost me $8,800. You filthy. No. There's even a Discord channel too, just for our patrons. But you need to know this: Sports Gambling Podcast has and will always give out their picks for free. We've been rocking since 2011, and that ain't changing. All right, the Patreon is just a great way to get to support the network and fight back against corporate gambling. Yeah, we've been independent. We've been rocking 2011. That's what, 12 years of independence.
Boom.
All right,
we're looking like Notre Dame now.
Yeah,
come on.
We don't want a conference, right? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, we are back on the college football experience. Penn State Nittany Lion preview. And I feel like if you've been listening to all of our 133 previews, check us out because, we have a rhythm to this thing and we got to talk about the transfer portal first. Hopefully you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. And remember, we also host the college basketball experience where we talk college hoops year round, but also when the season starts, every single night of the season, I'll be here. Also the college baseball experience, the FCS college football experience, and the Big 12 experience. New. We might even have the Big 10 coming soon.
Boom.
Folks, the transfer portal. Let's talk about it. Because what Penn State lost, Patty C, they had Storm Duck for like a half a second. He transferred from North Carolina into Penn State, and then he was like, no, I'm out to Louisville. I don't know what happened there, but he's gone. Offensive tackle.
Couldn't crack the starting lineup, maybe.
That or Louisville opened up a big bag of cash. You never know.
More likely to be the case.
Offensive tackle, Jimmy Christ headed out to the Virginia Cavaliers. God knows they needed offensive lineman. That was the worst offensive line a year
How
ago.
about that? As a Northern Virginia native and a Virginia native in general, having seen, what was it the other year? 6 of our top 10 prospects in the state went to Penn State. Nice to get something back from Penn State. Thank you.
Wide receiver Jaden Dotton is in the portal. Cornerback Marquise Wilson heads out to the Boilermakers of Purdue, 4-star transfer. Boiler up, they're saying.
20 tackles, 2 passes defended. It's a little bit of a loss.
Running back Kavion Lee heads out to Hail State, Mississippi State, and Kevin Barbay and Zach Arnett in Stark Vegas.
Number 4 rusher, but under 100 rushing yards on the year. A little bit of a loss though.
Jamari Button, a linebacker. He says, I'm out of here. Still in the portal, but he is out of there.
8 tackles. Depth
4-star transfer though. Patty C, how about this one? Defensive lineman Fatorma Moba. Guess where he transferred? West Virginia. Oh, I mean, I know they don't play anymore until this year. That's a kind of a brutal rivalry. And they play week 1. I mean, brutal, but I guess is there animosity still between the two fan bases? It's been so fucking long.
48-9 all time. When was the last time they played?
91 or 92 or something?
92.
A long time ago, man. They used to play all the time.
Yeah.
What happened?
And honestly, West Virginia's success was largely in the early days of that Penn State making West Virginia look like Maryland over the last.
I'd like to see that rivalry come back.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
But that's interesting that he heads out. He's going to play his old team week 1. Cornerback Jeffrey Davis hit the portal. Hasn't landed anywhere yet, as far as 24/7 Sports telling us. How about this one? Rodney McGraw on the defensive end. He heads out to Louisville and Jeff Brown as well.
Depth loss, 1 tackle.
Offensive tackle Malik McNeil hits the portal. Quarterback Christian. How do I pronounce this guy's last name? Vallejo.
Value.
Yeah. Anyway, I know I know Narduzzi was happy about this one. He goes to Pitt, but once again,
this sounds like
going to the rival. What the fuck? That game needs to be on the schedule every year.
Yeah. Come on.
All right. Look, the West Virginia one. Okay. How about do that every 10
every
years?
other year?
Yeah. Or every other year.
Every 3
fantastic.
years.
Yeah. But the Pitt game, come on.
Yeah.
Don't end the season. Who did they play to end the season this year, Patty C?
They play Michigan State, which I'll give it a little credit.
I did love that game in the snow a couple years ago.
It's developed a little bit in my mind.
It sucks this year though.
Yeah, I mean they just fucked it up. But
yeah,
Pitt still by far their most played.
Come on, play the Pitt game.
Yeah, and
we
it's a
want
great
the
series.
Pitt game.
Penn State only leads at 53-43 all time.
That game's perfect. How do you fuck this up?
Your two Power 5 programs in the same state.
God,
figure it out.
All right, incoming in the portal, Patty C.
That's not a terrible
amount of losses.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, incoming, I think you'll be excited because Davian Collins, cornerback from Mississippi State. It's like they send Kayvon Lee down there, said, "Give us someone to return a corner." Boom, happens.
Very nice.
Defensive lineman,
3-star transfer or 3-star prospect.
Defensive lineman Alonzo Ford from Old Dominion going into Virginia. So look, they send a little offensive lineman down the Wahoos. They said, we're going to take a little ODU defensive lineman back.
I'll say this. They better be careful about if they expand into Virginia and give Virginia Big Ten that, cred and platform. Because I feel like Rutgers has been able to start to put a little more of a fence around, whereas Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State would just go in there and raid it, and Notre Dame. Now Rutgers keeping a little of that talent. Virginia is part of the lifeblood of what keeps Penn State football going. Be careful.
Good note. Also, I forgot to mention they lost running back Devin Ford to Notre Dame. Interesting.
Ouchie. Well, stuck down the depth chart.
Yeah. Running back Trey Potts though comes in from the Minnesota Golden Gophers to the Penn State Nittany Lions. Minnesota's been very good on the ground lately, so getting that dub.
There you go.
Wide receiver Malik McClain coming in from Florida State.
Bringing a little 5-star, little hot shot Florida talent.
There you go. Then they go out and get Florida Atlantic punter Riley Thompson with the Owls and Boca Raton. Says, come on over here. This one was a huge get here. Dante Cephas, wide receiver from Kent State. He was a fucking stud at Kent State.
Yeah.
Here's what I like about, and that's what they brought in. Here's what I like about it. I mean, obviously Thompson's the punter, but like Cephas, I think you're going to see him starting.
48 receptions, 744 yards, 3 touchdowns. Big play guy, 15.5 yards per catch.
Yeah. Getting Cephas and McClain to address their wideout position. Nice.
And that's not even actually 2021 was Cephas' huge year.
Well, that's because Crum they got injured last year, right? Crum got injured, right?
Gotcha.
Or not Crum, but Schlee.
82 catches for 1,240 yards.
He can
and
play.
9 touchdowns.
He can play
in 21.
Now you bring in those receivers from Florida State and Kent State that I think are going to be big hits. Bring in a punter. That's always good. Trey Potts adds a little bit of depth. He's got 3 years of eligibility. And then the OD, I'm curious about Alonzo Ford on the defensive line and the corner Collins from Mississippi State. But either way, I'm going to say they won the portal, Patty C. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like they hit any super home runs outside of Cephas, or Cephas, however you pronounce that. But look, they were already a pretty well stocked, offensive room returning. And then you add that in defensively, I guess an excellent unit there too. I would have liked to see a little more life injected defensively, but I would say a wash defensively, a slight upgrade offensively.
Well, I think the recruiting is going to speak for the defensive side of the ball, but let's talk about it. The offense,
real quick. Recruiting, by the way, he's been teetering in the low teen range for most of this time. In fact, the national composite has Penn State at number 15 as of 2022, the most recent rankings. Number 3 in conference, as you would expect. But this year's recruiting class, 2024, obviously none of the talent is there. But he's up to number 6. Can he hold Penn State? Maybe James Franklin finally ready to take the next step.
Yeah, and let's talk about the offense. Mike Urich, 19th scoring offense a season ago. He's in his 3rd year as UFC, by the way. 16th rushing. I'm sorry. I'm staying corrected. 44th rushing offense in the country. 45th passing offense, charting at 33rd in total offense. Patty C. Should we expect that number to jump up with the fact those running backs are back and They got a quarterback that's not a lawn chair, right? Even though Clifford wasn't a lawn chair either.
Clifford had
he was not a lawn chair.
64% completion percentage, 24 touchdowns,
timely
7 interceptions. Yeah. And just like a little bit of the Kirk Cousins thing where it's like when you need the big play, he checks down or he just can't scramble for it. Like the lost yardage that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He didn't have the it factor. Whereas like we mentioned when they brought in who was it a couple years back? The guy who went to the Titans. Played for
I was going to say McSorley, but wait, the Titans.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the top pick in the draft. I'm drawing a blank. Will Levis.
Oh yeah,
they brought in Levis. Levis had the it factor, but you know,
you're talking Hackenberg for a second.
I'm talking about Mr. Interception.
Yeah.
No, Levis came in, and maybe that's what we see. Is I would, in fact, expect to see Allar look a little bit like Levis. I wasn't super impressed with Allar in limited time last year. 58% completion percentage. He did have 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but I just
he's
think,
also a freshman.
Yeah, he's got the talent. If he can polish it up, then yeah, there's a lot more potential there.
Well, I mean, this season I think we'll ride with that because I mean I think you got to be thrilled. Let's talk about it. Drew Allar, the quarterback there. They got Bo Pribula and Jackson Smolik as the backups there. Kind of don't know much about their backups, but either way, you gotta love. And Pribula was a high recruit, so yeah,
you'd like to have a little more depth with experience, but if that's probably the biggest question mark on the entire team at this point.
Yeah,
which is
the
ironic.
Depth at the quarterback spot.
He's probably the most talented player out there, or one of them.
Dude, how about this running back room? Arguably one of the best, if not the best in the nation, with Singleton and Allen. Oh man, they pop off screen, dude. Yeah. Both of them pop off screen. I understand why Lee bounced down to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be studs. They're fucking studs.
Singleton 6.8 yards per attempt, good for 3rd in the nation. He can fly. I don't know the last time Penn State had a true like burner at the running back. I guess Saquon Barkley.
It was like Barkley,
plenty fast.
Yeah.
But I still think of him as kind of like a power back. But he could fly. He was just an everything back.
Well, the wide receiver position seemed, KeAndre Lambert-Smith is back, and once again they add Dante Cephas. Those are the two. I mean, those two are penciled in to start. They're breaking in Harrison Wallace, a guy who played in 13 games a season ago. Once again, they also add Malik McClain from Florida State, so you'll probably see him in as well. Patty C, you got to like the receiving room with them getting Cephas, McClain for some depth, and then they're excited about Harrison Wallace, and then obviously KeAndre Lambert-Smith is a very good player from a season ago. So you got to like this, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Theo Johnson, the tight end, was good for.
Yeah, I was about to mention him, and really, I like Tyler Warren too. They have good tight end depth.
Johnson 20 receptions, Warren 10 receptions. Now, who's the leading receiver coming back here?
Lambert-Smith.
He was good for 24 catches, 389.
Got 18 starts in his career.
What happened with Mitchell Tinsley?
He's off.
Did he get drafted?
He's gone.
It doesn't look like he got drafted. I guess with a team of this magnitude, maybe we should talk about what they lost in the draft. Joey Porter at corner.
He was a stud. He was a fucking stud.
Yeah. Brennan Strange, tight end. Juice Scruggs, center. And then on the Sean Clifford even got drafted in the 5th round. And then Parker Washington. So they did lose like 5 offensive players to the draft here.
They're going to be this team is loaded, 4, man. Look, the offensive line returns 4 of 5. So they're going to take that next step up, I think, right there. I mean, it's really all on Drew Allar.
Yeah.
Drew Allar.
Yeah. I'd be curious to get the proper pronunciation on that. And I'm sure we're going to have it pretty soon because he's going to be heavily featured on your TV screen.
I mean, do you think the offense will be better than, say, 33rd from a year ago?
I would assume so.
All right. Now let's take a look at the defense. Manny Diaz. Remember when he was a Temple coach for like one day and then left for Miami?
Yeah.
He's doing a good job at Penn State. And this is what I'm saying.
Well, real quick, offensively, maybe it's a system thing that puts a ceiling on there because even though they're stacked, it seems like pretty much across the board. Would you say Franklin has traditionally been a little bit of a conservative play caller?
I'd say
had a conservative play caller?
Sure.
Yeah.
But the defensive side of the ball, this is where you were surprised they weren't more active in the portal. I don't know that they needed to be, because last season, 10th in the nation in scoring defense, 16th in rush defense, 45th in pass defense, charting at the number 16 defense in America. And they bring back a solid amount of them. I mean, we got 8 starters back on the defensive side of the ball, buddy. Defensive line brings back 2 of 4. And I think that's what you circle, because obviously you play in the Big Ten, but I know Isaac at the right end spot, and then the defensive tackle Zane Durant. Those 2 are back starting. They are counting on Devon Ellis at the nose guard spot, and Damian Robinson, who did play at 5.5 sacks a season ago, to step up in the starting spot in 2023, and perhaps they can. Patty, see the linebacker room.
Oh, Chop Robinson feels like he's been there for like how long?
Oh, a solid amount of time, I would say. But buddy, how about this linebacker room? You gotta be excited about this. Abdul Carter, Kobe King, Curtis Jacobs. They're gonna have a really good. I mean,
stacked. Is that 4 returning starters at the linebacker?
Yeah, Tyler Elsdon back as well. And look, Carter was second team all Big Ten a year ago. The secondary, you gotta love it. Even though you lose Porter, you got Kalen King,
3rd in the nation in passes defense with 16.
You got Johnny Dixon. You got Keaton Ellis all back. They're breaking in Jalen Reed at the strong safety spot. He did play in 13 games a season ago, 31 tackles. Riley Thompson, the punter I alluded to, comes in from FAU, and he is projected to be the starter. And the kicker, though, interesting, he transfers in from the Ivy League, Alex Felkins. He was 2-time All Ivy Kicker of the Year, buddy. So, Patty C, will the defense and offense be better? And this is the year, right? This has got to be the year, right?
Oh, I mean, the defense probably can't be a ton better. Number 16 overall. I mean, yes, it is possible. But the level of competition, you're playing Big Ten. You're not just, playing a schedule where you kick everyone's ass every week. The competition's legit. So yeah, it's solid, but I would have to say that this, I do think that this is probably their best chance.
I agree.
In quite a long, but it's
going to be fascinating to
quite
watch.
Frankly, that I can remember maybe in my lifetime.
Yeah. In your lifetime.
Well, I don't, I can say like 94 when they had a great year. I wasn't really dialed into Penn State from minute one.
My brother's a diehard Penn State fan.
Yeah, I watched them. I was amazed, but I wasn't doing preseason previews on them.
I remember Phil Ubodi Cody. All right.
That's a pull.
Let's go. All right. Folks. All right, look, we're going to go game by game on the schedule. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the Penn State Nittany Lions 2023 season preview is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, the NFL season is right around the corner, and Underdog Pickup is a great way to get down on a ton of NFL player props, and is available in a ton of different markets. Plus, there's plenty of opportunities to win in their daily MLB contest. And, of course, make sure you enter Best Ball Mania, where first place gets $3 million. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. And Jahan Dotson's doing good work, right? He's a Redskin, right? I'm right. Sorry, getting twisted. We're back on the college football experience. I was thinking about some of the great players recently from Penn State. I know he wasn't there last year, but 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Number 4 all time on the receiving list.
The Redskins got a guy. Buddy, we're back. We're talking. Look at this win total here. 9.5 wins. You surprised by that? What's your first reaction when you see? And by the way, if hopefully you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the sweet graphics. YouTube.com/the college experience. Patty C, what's your first reaction?
Smash the over.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
I think that's easy.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Let's jump into it here, because week 1, a rivalry, I don't even know if it still counts as a rivalry because they haven't played this shit in so long. I think it counts, right?
Yeah.
The Mountaineers and Neil Brown are catching 21 fucking points. Unbelievable to me, that spread. I mean, look, I think Penn State's going to be good, but 21's a lot.
Yeah, it's a huge spread.
West Virginia coming into State College.
The home field advantage is massive in this game. In fact, home field advantage favors Penn State a lot on this schedule. I got to go Nittany Lions. I don't think they cover that, but they could in the fourth quarter.
This schedule's a lock.
Yeah.
Want to know?
Yep.
Now the Delaware Blue Hens, who did beat an FBS a year ago, Watch out.
Hello.
They're good. No, Penn State 2-0.
Yep. Here's a dangerous.
This is the one you circle. This is the one you circle. At Illinois, September 16th. This game's awesome. I think Bielema's got Illinois playing really good. And
who's running the quarterback over there again?
They brought in John Paddock, and they also brought in the Ole Miss transfer. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. The backup, not Jackson Dart, but the other guy. Man, I'm drawing a blank. I want to say Mordecai, but that's SMU to Wisconsin.
Well, let me see if I can pull that for you. Either way,
just type in
they
Ole
don't
Miss,
have Luke Altmaier.
Altmaier, there we go.
They don't have Chase Brown this year,
but their quarterback room is certainly better than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
I got Penn State winning.
If you're gonna, this is one that you very much have to be.
Yeah, this is one you got to be wary for, and the next one really. This little 2-game stretch.
But getting Iowa.
Remember when Iowa went to State College and won 6-4? One of the best games in college football history.
Beautiful.
No, but I thought Iowa did a great job in the portal with McNamara, Eric All, some of the other guys they grabbed.
Iowa could have an undefeated season for all we know. They're a great. Well,
especially look, I know you're getting them at home, and Iowa on the road is different than Iowa in Iowa City, but still, this is like this 2-game stretch for Drew Allar.
Yeah,
those are the two best defenses. I think you could argue they're the two best defenses in college football.
Yeah,
Illinois and Iowa back-to-back weeks.
I mean, I don't think you have to argue it. I think statistically, let's take a look at this. They were number 2 and number 3 last year.
Yeah. You're gonna learn about your quarterback.
Yeah, prime time
by the end of September.
7:30 Eastern kick. CBS. All eyes on State College. Is that the whiteout game this year? Iowa.
Is it? I don't know.
Probably should be.
Well, then
4-0,
and then Northwestern fired Pat Fitzgerald. He's gone.
I can see Patty Fitzgerald if Manny Diaz leaves. I don't know though. Penn State's probably particularly aware of.
Yeah, it's got to be. He'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But this is a win now because Northwestern's going to be awful. I mean, look, it was probably going to be a win before, but you can never rule out Northwestern and Fitzgerald. But now that he's gone, 5-0, going into the bye.
Yep.
Then Don Brown and UMass come to town.
When you think about it, they essentially have 3 full weeks to prepare for Ohio State.
Yeah.
They're going to
Northwestern,
UMass
bye week, and then UMass.
3 bye weeks in a row. But 2 in which they get to, prep.
Then they head to the shoe to take on the Buckeyes.
This is it. This is the entire season right here.
Loss. I hope they win, but it's a loss.
They could beat Ohio State. They need to turn the tables on this rivalry. And regardless of whether Ohio State tries to be too cool for school and hype their Michigan rivalry as the best in the world, this is a rivalry, and it's a freaking hard.
I can't believe they didn't protect this. Now the Big Ten just added 2 more schools. It's not even a fucking conference anymore. It's like a whole league.
Yeah.
Stupid if you ask me. But my point is now they can correct it. Put this game on, protect this rivalry.
Yeah. Let's go.
Every year we want to watch that game. That's what you got them winning.
I don't. Okay. If I have to hand them a loss, I'm going to hand it to Ohio State. Penn State finds a way to lose. They steal defeat from the jaws of victory routinely against Ohio State.
Loss. All right.
I actually think they could beat them, but that's a coin flip. But I'll give them the loss.
6-1.
Yeah.
Now they're home to Indiana. 7-1.
Yep. Here's a dangerous one.
At Maryland. No, it's not. You
just
rattled
because historically, no, it's not a dangerous one. But
nope, not mine. It was 30-0 last year.
Okay, fine. Win.
All right, and that's 8-1.
Here we go.
3 games left, and here we go. Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines come to town. Win. This is the one loss for the Wolverines.
Which, depending on what Ohio State does, we're assuming Michigan beats Ohio State. In that case, we're looking at a 3-way tie, assuming Penn State wins out, which we'll talk about. But and that Michigan and Ohio State both had 1 loss. If Ohio State beats Michigan, though, then this would cost Penn State a potential share of the league title. But still, 11-1. That's 10. Now that's 9-1. No.
Yeah, 9-1. Then they're home to Rutgers, 10-1, and then they get the all-time. This is a classic move, a classic SEC move. They know Penn State's going to be really good this year. Big Ten and Peacock arranged to move the Michigan State game. I don't know how the fuck Michigan State was on board with this. out of East Lansing, which Patty C, I'll have you know, had this game been played in East Lansing, I was calling for the upset with Michigan State to ruin Penn State's season. Now they're moving it to and that game was awesome the last time in East Lansing. Remember it was in the snow? Yeah. It's fucking like my favorite game of the college football year.
This is the type of game where home field advantage is the edge, cause it's like depending in college football.
This game sucks.
I want to say
this is one of these NFL bullshit games.
In the NFL,
fuck you, Peacock, and fuck you, the Big Ten.
Yeah, terrible.
This game is terrible. I don't want to watch this game. Penn State, though, if you're a Penn State fan, you're happy. You're like, hey, we don't got to go into East Lansing.
Yeah,
smart.
I want to say, I don't know. I think it's in Phil Steele's magazine that he lists like the home field advantage. And in pros, I think it's like 3.5 points, maybe even less. But in college, I feel like it's up huge, to like 4.5 points. Michigan State needs that advantage, and they're giving it up.
Unbelievable.
I think you're right too.
Yeah, unbelievable. And go listen. We just had Phil Steele on the show. Go check that out. I got him beating. Look, if you're a Penn State fan, you're happy because it's at this ridiculous Ford Field, one of the worst places to see a football game, in my opinion. Penn State wins 11-1. Give me the over.
11-1. Now, do you see a 3-way tie for the?
I do.
Conference championship. Does Penn State get the nod?
How does that work? I don't even know.
Michigan State.
No, but how does it work?
Here's. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's based on rankings.
That's terrible.
It is stupid. But here's one thing that could be a factor here. And I know you're gonna laugh at this, but don't take it seriously for 1 second, even though it might not be worth listening to. Penn State, easy non-conference slate. Michigan, easy ass non-conference slate. Ohio State has to go to Notre Dame early in the season with a young quarterback. If they lose that, then in the rankings, Ohio State would be lower. And so then it becomes between Michigan and Penn State. And if Penn State has the head-to-head win on Michigan, they'll jump and
Penn State's schedule is a lot harder than Michigan's non-con.
What does Penn State have non-con?
West Virginia, at least. It's a rivalry game.
UMass and Delaware. That's not a hard non-con.
UNLV, ECU, and ECU is the juggernaut. And Bowling Green?
It's harder only because Michigan's
Delaware would beat Bowling Green by 14 right now.
Maybe.
They beat. What do you mean? They just beat an FBS. Bowling Green lost to an FCS last year.
Comparable, I would say. But Bowling Green went bowling. They don't call them Bowling Green for nothing there, buddy.
UMass and UNLV are the same team.
West Virginia, Penn State has a slight edge on that. So, I mean, look,
West Virginia is not as bad as people think. They almost beat TCU.
That's one actual tough non-conference game that Michigan doesn't have. I think that if Penn State is to get into the Big Ten championship game, they probably win, right?
Yeah,
and then this would be their first college football invitational.
Playing the air raid in Wisconsin.
In the roller rink,
could be interesting.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, that Big Ten title game's fucking terrible too. Play that. You're the Big Ten.
Chicago.
You're the Big Ten. What are you doing playing in Lucas Oil? That's another terrible stadium.
Big Ten has no soul.
They have no soul.
They lost their soul. They were supposed to be the conference of tradition. Threw it all away.
They suck. They suck. Look, Penn State over. Smash it. Patty C's on it. I'm on it. I had a chance to sit down with Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, to talk about his experiences to State College, Pennsylvania. And obviously, Happy Valley. So here's that interview right now. Joining me on the College Football Experience, Penn State Nittany Lions 2023 season preview episode is none other than Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour. Who College Football Campus Tour? What is that? Yes, a Twitter page at CFB Campus Tour. You got to check out because Michael does great work. I call him the king of college football games. Or I'm sorry, the king of college football stadiums. And yeah, he's been to every single FBS stadium. He's been to most of the FCS, been to D2, D3 stadiums, and he documents it all at his page. It's not just like an idiot's page that's just like, hey, I'm at a bar, I'm at the game with the beer. No, it's professionally done. It's well done. It talks about the history of the stadiums. He has the photo of the game. It's absolutely fantastic. Michael, I appreciate you hopping on the show to talk a little Beaver Stadium at Penn State, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. On my header on Twitter, it says not an idiot's page, so we're perfectly on the same page. And, Beaver Stadium, the elite of the elite. So this is a great one to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State. You know it surprised me a little bit when I was when I was pulling up the Wikipedia page that it broke ground in 1959. But tell me about this history of the stadium.
So it broke ground in 1959. It had original capacity of 46,000. They took a lot of the pieces from the old stadium, moved it across campus to start out with the shell of the new stadium. It's grown to 106,000 seats. It's the second largest stadium in all of college football, behind Michigan, actually second largest in the entire Western Hemisphere. There's the fourth largest in the world. It's very famous for the wideout. The wideout originated in 2002, and it was a way to try to offset Nebraska fans coming and turning the stadium red. They call Nebraska the Sea of Red at home. The first whiteout was actually blue. They did blue, and it was a success. And within 2 years, 2004 versus Purdue, they turned it into white, and we know it as the whiteout ever since. If you go there pregame, it's electric. I shot a video. I went to the whiteout last year against Minnesota, and they shoot fireworks from behind both press boxes, both end zones. It's like 45 seconds. It's absolute mayhem. And Beaver Stadium is set to get even better. There's a $700 million renovation project that was announced this year. It's supposed to be ready by 2027. It's focused on the west side of the stadium, new suites, and one big thing is to improve congestion. You talk about a stadium that started at 46,000 seats and now is more than double that. You get caught on the lower level in a whiteout, it's very hard to maneuver. So it's going to take a lot of money to fix that. But if they can do that, not only is it a great college football stadium, electric atmosphere, but it becomes much more easy to navigate, which would be great.
Yeah, look, I was gonna go to. It's a funny story. Me and my brother NC Nick that hosts the show with me. We were planning, us and a bunch of friends, to go to a Penn State game. It was Nebraska at Penn State, and it happened to be the game that the game after Joe Paterno and everything went, Sandusky and everything. So. Needless to say, we didn't end up making it to that game because of the chaotic scene that was going on. But I remember even looking at hotels around there. It was a challenge. So it is definitely remote. I can see how the traffic could be an issue. How many times you been to the stadium, man?
So I've been there for 2 whiteouts, and you just kind of reminded me of a story. So I went there in the spring. I want to say like 2019. I was on vacation with my brother. I wanted to go to some metal concerts out in Pennsylvania. And I saw that there was a spring game at Penn State, and my brother's not a huge football fan, but I was trying to get him to go. We're driving into town, and there was somebody on the side of the road with a sign that said "Need 2 tickets." And I was like, "This is a spring game, and they need 2 tickets." So it just shows you the amount of. I mean, they have 100,000 people; they could fit 150, no problem. So. Been to 2 whiteouts and went to the one last year versus Minnesota. Blowout, big win. It was a great experience just to go there anytime. But the best game I went to was actually 2018. It was versus Ohio State. It's the record crowd ever at Beaver Stadium, 110,889. And it was a classic game. Penn State with Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley. They were leading 27-14 going in the fourth quarter. And Dwayne Haskins, RIP, led 2 fourth quarter touchdown drives, and they won 28-27. And KJ Hill scored the game-winning touchdown. And when he went into the end zone, he came right towards my section, and he went shh to the crowd, and 111,000 people went silent. And so bad moment for Penn State, but just the up and down, the ebbs and flows of college football. It was one of the best games, I personally ever experienced.
Yeah, I bet, man. I got to get to a whiteout. I got to get over there for it. Penn State does college football right, and so does Michael Barker. Folks, give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. I'm telling you, it is a must follow if you love college football. If not, you're failing. You're failing at fandom for college football. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. So at CFB Campus Tour, Michael, I appreciate you hopping on the show, and maybe one day we can get out. Well, you've already been there twice. I haven't been there, but hopefully we can meet sometime during a whiteout, man.
Yeah, this would be a good one. Let's do it. Thank you for having me, Colby.
Anytime, brother. Take care. Michael Barker, Patty C. We got to get out to State College. I was gonna go. Had it all ready to go.
Freaking hilarious.
Had to call the old audible.
What a scene that would have been to roll up on.
Can you imagine if I was already there and that already happened? That would have been terrible. But look, I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over.
Well, let me throw something out here real quick.
What's that?
I'm going to list the teams in terms of, by the way, Penn State number 7 all time on the college football FBS wins list. And that's with some wins taken away from them. I'm going to read off the other teams that make up the top 15 of this list or so. And you tell me if they've had a national championship in the last 30 years. Michigan.
Yes.
Ohio State.
Yes.
Alabama.
Yes.
Notre Dame.
No,
but they've been in one.
That was a fake one.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yes.
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Nebraska.
Yes.
Georgia.
Yes.
USC.
Yes.
Tennessee.
Yes.
LSU.
Yes.
Auburn.
Yes.
Clemson.
Yes.
Penn State is on the higher end of that, and for some reason can't find themselves even in a national championship game, let alone winning one. This is a program that is due. Quite frankly, they're very due. Maybe this is the year.
Maybe it is. Look, they're plus 450 to win the Big Ten East. Not win the Big Ten championship, but I guess you should just take them to win the Big Ten the whole Big Ten if you're going to bet that, because you're probably going to be playing Iowa. So plus 550 to win the Big Ten. Let's go. I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. It's going to be fun to watch this year, man. It's going to be really fun to watch the folks at State College. So folks, check us out. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C's on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck they're calling it now at Patty C831. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. And I mean, folks, subscribe youtube.com/the college experience. Watch the episodes live. We're breaking down all 133 college football teams. We also, or if you're listening to this in the car, wherever podcasts can be found, the College Football Experience. We also host the FCS College Football Experience for all you Duquesne fans out there and Robert Morris fans and Villanova. Who knows? Delaware. Maybe you want to scoop on Delaware. We got you. All right. Check it out there. Also, the College Basketball Experience. I know Mike Shrewsbury's out, but I kind of like to hire a Mike Rhodes there coming in from VCU. I know he brings in Ace Baldwin. We're going to talk all about it on the College Basketball Experience.
College Wrestling Experience. We'd be focused on Penn State week in and week out.
Yeah, you can handle that one. All right. But honestly, Penn State's great at that. So check out the College Basketball Experience, the College Baseball Experience, Big 12 Experience. We got all these ones out there. Check it out. sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I'm sorry. Well, yeah. Sports Gambling. Check out that website too. Get the SGPN app is what I was trying to say. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Go check out the Phil Steele episode that we just dropped. We got Randy Cross penciled in for this week to talk a little ball. Folks, until next time, this is the College Football Experience, Penn State Nittany Lions style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking, and the whole world's looking with the gamblers. Run and shoot.